Welcome back to SwitchCorner. It's time for volume 21 of our Switch Gems series. Here I keep things simple. I break down 5 games that I love personally, I tell you why, and then I give you an idea of who out there, might enjoy them too, so that way you can either add them to your library, or at least add them to that wish list in the hope of a future sale. With that though, hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here, join our growing family, and let's get started. So first up today, I've had a few questions surrounding co-op experiences, and one of my favourites, it requires a little bit of extra legwork, but keep talking and nobody explodes. That's because this one actually requires an instruction manual, so you can either head to their website and print it off, or just simply use a tablet or phone. This one though, it definitely wouldn't be possible to play in single player. It is local only, so do know that. The idea though, simple enough. One player has the bomb, or multiple potentially, while another player or group each hold a copy of the manual. That means one player is looking at the bomb, the other group is looking at a way to stop the bomb, and now between the two groups or two individuals, you gotta figure out how to stop it. If you want to make it easier, do put it on the TV so those with the manual can visually tell you where to head. You want to make it harder, play kind of the intended way, make them look away, so now you need to describe in fact how the bomb looks and decipher that 24 pages of instructions along with them. It is seriously fun and great for those that maybe want to play with family and friends who are not, gamers in that traditional sense. I've played this one with all age groups and it's such a simple idea but so incredibly tense as that timer just, ticks down and you begin to go from talking with each other to very much screaming at each other. The bombs then are procedurally generated, meaning it's always going to be different, so plenty of reason to head back. And yeah, I had an absolute blast. I played it originally in VR when it came out, and then when it headed to the Switch I pretty much picked it up day one, and that was back in 2018. Next up then, Forager. This has been the talk of the SwitchCorner Discord over this last few weeks. You should definitely check it out if you haven't already. I will link it down below. But it recently did enter a sale, and it's not one we see go into sales particularly often. So I wanted to go into a little bit more detail today because it's a great little game from publisher Humble Games that doesn't get mentioned near enough. Forager is basically a combination of different parts. You're going to find farming and crafting, which has then been combined with combat thanks to things like dungeons, and even a dash of simulation thanks to land expansion. What the eShop does not explain though with this one is its main kind of component is the fact it's very much a survival game. Now, starting simple enough, pickaxe in hand, you'll have a tiny plot of land ahead of you. You might mine a few of the rocks you see, maybe chop down a tree or two. But when this one gets going, it really does get going. Soon that very small square, it just expands, tons of land, that opportunity, and this world will start to take shape as you see fit. It's simplistic but more challenging than those cutesy visuals might initially let on, but it's just, I gotta say, a great example of a game giving you an option of basically do what the hell you want, play this how you want to play it. It's all very basic, but that's what makes it also so very addictive, and you can easily sink hours in here just kind of chipping away at your character's level and the world. Alright, so Banner of the Maid, a title I reviewed here on the channel. I always see the same question with strategy games: is it like Final Fantasy Tactics? And yes, this one for sure has its similarities. This is small-scale turn-based tactical battles, which for sure chooses a unique setting by throwing you squarely in the middle of the French Revolution. One thing I will say though is this is an alternative take on history and definitely not following true events. This though, here you'll find the traditional grid-based system. You'll control units, send them into battle, and the strategy for this one really is leverage units in the right place at the right time while figuring out how much you can get out of it, a particular unit, as they do have turn restrictions. Where this one is unique though, it's all the story in between, where we find ourselves in almost visual novel territory with a whole lot of text and then even the occasional option to select. While I know visual novels are not for everyone, this has a very good balance of both that I think strategy fans, you can head here and you should be able to get through it. The story, I've got to say as well, it isn't bad either. Translation's a little bit rough in points, a few issues, but it's more grammatical than anything else, so it's close enough that you can definitely figure it out. Throw in then the unique art style that's not going to be for everyone, the over the sexualized anime tropes, but that is very much banner of the Maid, a French Revolution based anime tactical strategy entry, a sentence I never thought I would get to say. Polls on how long to beat though do suggest you're looking at about the 30-hour mark for completion here, so you're definitely getting plenty of gameplay for your cash. I didn't think it was anywhere near that long honestly, but it's been a little while since I picked it up myself, and with this genre it's very easy just to kind of get lost in the game for hours on end and you just don't even realise it. Our penultimate game of the week then, it's a 1v1 fighter because I don't think I featured a single one in the first 100 games of this series, so it's very much time. Undernight, in birth, late, clear, yeah, incredible. I reviewed this one on the channel, and this is a fighter that largely goes overlooked by the Switch community, or at least I presume so anyway from the little I hear about it. The fight genre top dogs though, we all know them, think like Mortal Kombat 11, Dragon Ball FighterZ, they steal a lot of the attention, but this is not one you should sleep on. It's actually one of the big attractions at EVO, the biggest fight tournament in the world. Coming from French bred though and Arc System Works, this game has now actually been around since 2012. What we get here is the latest update featuring 21 characters, new movesets, online play, arcade and then training modes. It even has a story mode which is for you visual novel fans. They then wrap up the entire package with over 12,000 new frames of animation and 1,000 balance adjustments. The depth of this thing is crazy, and the time to master, no doubt it's going to take some serious dedication, but like any good fighter it's going to be fun from the very beginning. I strongly recommend taking a look if you like your fighters, because it is, as I've said probably a few times now, it is incredible. My review on this one, it was nearly 15 minutes long, so if you do want to seriously take a deep dive into the mechanics, go check that out for a more fuller picture on everything it contains. The final game of the week then, and I'm going obvious because it actually went on sale last week. I touched on it kind of briefly in deals, but I was surprised in the comments how many out there didn't really know about it. GRIS, which I've been actually calling GRIS until I learned that this week that's how you pronounce it, 2 years after release. It's an absolute masterpiece. It's also one of the more sought after Switch physical releases after a limited run print from Special Reserve Games that pretty much of course sold out near instantly. Here though we have the tale of a young girl who gets lost in her own world, slipping from one of almost colour to near black and white. She's basically dealing with some sort of painful trauma. Now you must guide her through this world, which basically means platforming and some light puzzle moments. While it is a very short game, completion time is around 3 hours, you will want to go back multiple times. It is just a pure example of gamers art. The visual design on display here, by far some of the best you will find on the Nintendo Switch, or in fact to any console. This is then reinforced by seriously stunning animation as this world just kind of shifts around you. It starts to add colour. Finally, the audio. This just needs to be heard. It's up there with the very best, which to me it's standing next to soundtracks like think The Outer Wilds, not Worlds, Wilds, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and then Firewatch. This game is an absolute must buy for absolutely every single Switch owner. And that's it, another week down. Volume 21 is a wrap. Have you played any of these before, and can you get behind recommending them alongside me? Or even go ahead and recommend against them. Let us know why you did not enjoy them in the comments. With that then, like a shout out to the patrons of the channel who are just going above and beyond to support SwitchCorner. Helps more than you know, so thank you all so much. If you do want to check that out for yourself, I have linked it in the video description down below. Then hit subscribe if you love the Switch as much as we all do here. Join our growing family, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.